Almost a year ago, August 2015, I started up this YouTube channel and started off with a MyLeague surrounding the new Knicks of 2016, 2015-2016 Knicks. So, how I'm gonna bring back this channel now in July of almost a whole year forward is by making a MyLeague on the 2016-2017 New York Knicks, just like I did last year, but obviously it's going to be in 2K16, not 15. And here we go. Started off with Carmelo Anthony, our best player. Of course, regardless of all the pickups we made, he's still going to be our best player, regardless of how much Kristaps develops. He's still going to be the #1 scorer of this team, the leader of this team for the past 6 years. And I mean, I see Melo. After last year, he came back from a knee injury. I see this year him being more fresh. Doesn't have as much pressure with Kristaps developing, and of course, our new point guard here, and our center, and our shooting guard. Probably the best lineup he's ever played with in New York since he joined. So I see him still being the leader of the team, but with a reduced role, as long as we still have Kristaps Porzingis, the 7'3" beast out of Latvia. Last year, averaged around 11 points per game, 8 or 9 rebounds, and was showing superstar potential, even though he got booed at the draft. But you remember last year, my Knicks MyLeague, he killed it. And now, this year, I'm expecting even more from him, considering he actually proved himself in this league. He's around an 80 overall in 2K. I mean, he's 7'3". He grew 2 inches. He's bulking up. I mean, even though, 2K keeps him like the same weight regardless. But Kristaps Porzingis, he might later in the series become the #1 option, considering how much he develops if injuries don't concern him. But here's where it gets fun. Derrick Rose. Wow, even if he doesn't perform good, it feels great to say that we have a former MVP on this team, that Melo and him have had so many battles, and now him and Carmelo Anthony are going to be teammates here in New York. If he can perform some dunks like he is in this practice session, I mean, he's going to be playing like an MVP form Derrick Rose. I see him probably still, even though he was a former MVP, even though all that, whatever, even though he was the best scorer on the Bulls for numerous years, I see him being the 3rd option behind Carmelo. Now, of course, he's going to have behind Carmelo and Kristaps, but of course he's going to have the ball in his hands most of the time, but I see him facilitating this team. And also, Joakim Noah. Now, he's going to have that connection with Derrick Rose, but I can't really show you his highlights in this practice. As you saw, his jump shot, I mean, look at it. It's horrible. But he's a great center to have offensively and defensively in the paint. You want a type of guy like Noah, a scrapper. He was like 3rd in MVP voting like 2-3 years ago when Butler was still on the come up, and Rose was injured for the season. So excited to have him here. I think the Knicks paid a good price for him, along with the salary cap jump. Courtney Lee, I'm excited to have him. 3-and-D scrapper guy, and really athletic. People might not know, really athletic, as he hit like a game winner, like off of baseline reverse in the air a few years ago. Now, 6th man of the year, not 6th man of the year, Phil Jackson wants him to be 6th man of the year, Brandon Jennings. Brandon Jennings always wanted to be in New York, which I never knew actually, until now. Brandon Jennings, I'm really hoping he'd show up for the city. He's that type of player that needs to be in New York, I feel. Not that great a defense, but a good all-around offensive player, athletic. Then we got our 3-and-D Lance Thomas back. There's a lot of 3-and-D players on this team, as you can realize. Lance Thomas, solid player. I'm happy to have him back. Really good at defense. Kyle Quinn, another player returning to the team because he was still on contract. He's going to be playing power forward this season as a backup to Kristaps. Justin Holiday, a really athletic player. He could kind of hit the 3. He's athletic. He's the only player on the Knicks with a ring, actually, I'm pretty sure. And here we have Willie Hernangomez, our backup center, who is really good friends with Kristaps because they played on the same team just last season. Well, before Kristaps joined the NBA. and he was considered the best center in Spain. So excited to have him. Then we have this guy. I guess his name is like Ming Daugas, Kuzminska. I don't know. His name is really hard to pronounce. All right, I think I did pretty decent on that. He's probably going to find himself in a role on this team, to be honest, because he could shoot the three and dunk, and he's probably decent at defense considering he's athletic. But at our last final roster spot, except for Sasha Vujacic, who isn't even in the lineup, so I can't even shoot around with him. But Marshall Plumlee, brother of Miles and Mason, he's alright. He probably won't get any minutes. But as you see, I still have one more roster spot to go after Sasha Vujacic. We only have 14 players. The Knicks are still contemplating it in real life. We don't have a last player. So I took it to myself to sign the player who led this team for the whole year and would average like 25, 26 points per game. Amari Stoudemire, one of my favorite players. I would honestly be so happy if the Knicks brought him back this year. But we'll just have to wait a few weeks in real life to see. But I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to call it. They're going to bring back him. He wants to be back too. He said it on Adrian Wojnarowski's podcast that he wants to be back with the Knicks. And he would find it fun to be back with the Knicks. But like I always do, next video will be the first game of the season, testing out everyone. And obviously with Amari Stoudemire added, the starting lineup, or not starting lineup, the bench will consist of him at center and not Willie Hernangomez. We will see how everything plays out. I'm not looking to do any trades yet because the team's looking like a playoff team already. I'm excited for the season, for this next team in real life and in this game. And I will talk to you guys in the next